Hello and welcome to Comedy in a Nutshell. I'm your host Mark Decano, and each episode I isolate one individual and probe them on where they picked up the comedy bug, the rooms they've played, the people they've mixed with, and how it's affected them. Because laughter is infectious, and it's no wonder everyone keeps banging on about going viral. I'm the comedy nerd who's seen more than 2,000 different comedians perform live comedy, and you can find out more about my journey in comedy fandom on my website, thecomedynerd.com. Please also take a moment to like, subscribe, rate, review, and share the podcast. Thank you. My guest this episode is a comedian I first discovered on social media, if you can imagine such a thing. She's a writer, actor, and comedian who's already made her mark with a win at the 2023 Musical Comedy Awards for Best Newcomer, and just this year took the title at the inaugural Bristol Comedy Competition. With wit and wisdom from reels to stand-up to musical comedy, it's comedian Jojo Maberly. If we start at the very beginning, was comedy very influential on you when you were growing up?
I think it was, like, in hindsight, I've thought about it more. My dad watched lots of Monty Python, and that was kind of put in front of us. But I wasn't conscious of the fact that comedy was a big part of my life when I was younger, if that makes sense. Like, I watched Monty Python, and it turns out listened to loads of Flanders and Swan, like in the car on the way to school. Again, like I was not really aware of that. It's only something that I found out like once I started doing comedy. They were like, "Oh, maybe that makes sense." We used to do like village pantomimes in my village, and that started out as like reviews and essentially like sketch shows. And my dad would write like little sketches and perform to the village.
So your dad was the performer? My
dad was a huge performer. I mean, he is an artist, but he's, pastel and he draws. So I think he took an excuse to perform and went with it. So yeah, he was, he had a big influence on me, I think, and really encouraged us to all perform as well when we were younger. It was only when I was about, I guess, in my early teens that I watched Miranda as a 14-year-old girl, and I thought it was so funny. And then from then on, I was very interested in comedy. I wasn't necessarily thinking that I wanted that as a career, but I just knew that that's what I enjoyed.
Yeah, but you studied drama, didn't you?
I did study English and drama, yeah, at Exeter.
Yeah,
I'd gone to another university to study filmmaking.
Right.
And then throughout the year, I just found myself being like, I kept volunteering to be the actor in all of the films. And I was like, oh, I don't think I'm meant to be here. So I went and did drama instead.
Something that's come up quite often is that comedians who started out studying drama always leant towards the comedic roles. Was that the direction that you went in, or were you very serious, straight actor?
I think a bit of both. Like, I did loads of acting at school. I mean, that was the thing that I did at school was drama, and I think I definitely did a mixture. I think I was aware that I could be funny. But I played quite a few serious roles, and then the same at uni. Like, I did sketch comedy like straight off the bat when I got to university,
right.
And I didn't really. That was when I kind of then realised that I could play funny, but that was kind of separate to my coursework, I guess.
Yeah. And
my coursework, some of the acting that I did was really, really straight, really serious, quite intense. But I think people saw me do the funny stuff and did put me in a bit of a box, which was fine because I enjoyed it. But yeah, I wasn't always only doing the comedic stuff, I don't think.
Where did comedy then come into it more as a leading role, if you like?
So I think I did a sketch show in my first term of uni, and that went like really well, and I really enjoyed it. And then I was asked to be in the next sketch show in the next term. So then I was basically just hanging around with loads of comedy people writing sketches and acting sketches, and then COVID hit, and that was 2020. And so I was basically just sitting on it for ages. I before COVID, stand up was not something I was interested in at all. Like people had asked me to perform stand up at student comedy nights, like when I'd done the sketch shows, and I was like, absolutely not, never going to touch it, absolutely not. And then I think just like literally not being able to perform for a year or two, I was just something changed, and then I did 5-minute set, and then basically was like obsessed from then.
What was that first gig? Where was it? How did it go?
It was a student run comedy night. There were 3 acts, literally. I was the headliner somehow at my first gig, but I think it was everyone's first ever stand-up gig. Maybe one person was second, and it was in a bar called Coolings in Exeter, and it was just a room full of people that I knew, which at the time felt, I think anything in that, like anything, it was your first stand-up gig, so anything would have been terrifying. I mean, now to me that is absolutely petrifying. Just a room full of people I know is like my worst nightmare. But it went all right. I mean, it's interesting. I've still got stuff in my set that I did in my first ever comedy set. I've got some stuff that I absolutely do not have. But, so that was the first one, and then I didn't do another gig for maybe 5 months or something.
Right.
Like just because it was Exeter and there wasn't really a student. There wasn't that much of a student scene, and there didn't seem to be an accessible kind of open mic scene there. And then I got through to the semi-finals of the Chortle Student Comedy Awards from a self-tape that I'd recorded like in my bedroom. And so I got through to that, and I emailed a guy called Will Adamsdale, who lives in Exeter, and he runs a comedy night, an amazing comedy night there. He now organises the Exeter Comedy Festival, and it's amazing. But I was like, I need to do 5 minutes for this competition, and they invited me to their. It was literally a deli, like a literal meat deli. There were probably about 10 people there that evening, and that was my second ever gig. And then they like basically asked me back every week, which was amazing. And that's kind of when I properly started doing it. When I say properly started doing it, I started doing comedy every week in a deli.
So as you started picking up these deli gigs and subsequent shows, how much did you have an idea in your mind of what it meant to do comedy, to be a stand-up comedian? And how did the reality meet or miss those expectations?
I didn't know anything, and I was so naive. I was so naive. Because Exeter's such a small place, and the community is amazing, and like it had these amazing comedians like Mike Wozniak in Exeter and Spencer Jones and Will Adamsdale and Charlotte Evans, and they were running this amazing night, and I was doing like my first 10 gigs with these like incredibly successful comedians. And I was like, this is amazing. Like, I'm going to debut next year. I'm going to have an agent in a year. I was so like, because it was such a bubble. And then I finished uni and moved to London. Like, I mean, I must have only been like 11 gigs in or something. And I moved to London, and I got there, and I was like, oh, okay, this is going to be really hard. Horrible. Like, oh, what's a bringer? That like immediate, like getting a light at 4.5 minutes and having to bring someone. So it was a bit of a shock actually getting to London and realising that I was actually going to have to put a lot of hard work in. People come up to me now, like I guess family and friends, and they say, oh, you must be so, like, if you think about where you were when you started, you must be so proud to have like got, like, you've done really well kind of thing. And I'm like, oh, when I first started, I would be so disappointed that it's taken so long, because I had such a naive like perspective on the whole thing. But like thinking of when I first got to London, or like maybe 2 months into London when like reality hit,
Yeah.
I think, that it is a lot of work to kind of get through that open mic scene. But yeah.
So where was the music throughout all of this? You started out as doing sketches and then you went into doing stand-up, but at what point did you introduce music, or did that start at the very beginning?
So I did music as a completely separate thing. Like throughout my teens, I played the guitar and I wrote songs, and they weren't funny in any way. And I didn't want them to, like, musical comedy was not really, I just wasn't thinking about it at all. I was angsty as hell. It was horrific. Just wrote some of the worst lyrics you could possibly imagine. And then I guess I started doing sketch comedy, and I was around people who were not taking themselves seriously, and I'd been taking myself so seriously up until that point. And basically, it was before I'd started doing stand-up. It was kind of in between between my first and second years of uni. I wasn't really able to perform, and I lived in a house, like a house share with like the worst man ever. He was so misogynistic, and he would like share he would share like Margaret Thatcher happy birthday posts on his Facebook page. And he would just say stuff to provoke me. It was so annoying. And I basically just got so fed up that I wrote a song that I knew would annoy him to perform at a dinner party that we were having, just as a flat. And I was like, oh, I wasn't very good at cooking, and I wasn't very good at like anything. So my housemates would always ask me to be like the entertainment, which probably a bit mean, like a bit offensive, to be fair. So, okay, I'll write a song. And then, I basically wrote a song that is called I Love Being a Woman, which is still in my set now. And it was just that I was so angry with this specific man, and I wanted to piss him off. But I wrote that, and then I was like, oh, okay, I could write a comedy set around this. This is quite funny. And that's basically how I wrote my first set, around the fact that I'd written the song. And then I wrote a couple more songs. And then, just kind of stuck with it. And then from there, lots of people would ask me loads of questions, like what my influences were in terms of like musical comedy and comedy. But I really didn't have any. I only looked into musical comedians after I'd started doing it, because I was intrigued by how they did it. But it really didn't come from anything specific. I wasn't inspired by anyone apart from the man that I hated, that I lived with.
So do you see yourself now as a musical comedian, or as a stand-up comedian who includes music in the set? I mean, how do you see yourself in that way?
I usually say I'm a musical and stand-up comedian, I think, because I do a lot of both. And I've got the loop pedal stuff now, which is not music in any way. It is just noises. So I don't think it's fair to say that is musical. I think I'm trying to say that I'm more of a stand-up because I've been putting a lot of pressure on the music stuff, which has then made it quite difficult to write new songs. I think because I'm like, oh, okay, I'm saying I'm a musical comedian, so I have to write a song, rather than feeling like I have something to write a song about, if that makes sense.
Right. Yeah.
Whereas I think I'm far more likely to just come up with ideas for a quick stand-up bit, because I'm just like, oh, that's a funny bit, and we can work on it. Yeah. But I really love having music in my sets. I really like having a bit of that, like that dynamic is really fun, and being able to hide behind something as well, to be honest, makes me feel a lot more comfortable.
Yeah.
It's nice to like be able to end the set on a song, because it just feels good and fun. But yeah, I think I would consider myself a mixture, really.
Yeah. You've touched on something interesting there that I've brought up before about this protective element. I mean, like you said about you did sketch where you're with a troupe and then going out on stage on your own. Is it nice to have like that thing to hide behind, that a totem, a gonk, like a security blanket?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
I mean, I think lots of people feel the same literally with just like literally a microphone or a mic stand even. Yeah. Like I've done gigs as well where there hasn't been a mic stand, and because I do music, I then have to perform without a microphone, and that is also horrible. It feels like there's the wall, whatever fourth wall there was, it's just been completely taken away. But yeah, I definitely, and maybe if I'd never written that first song and just somehow started doing straight stand up, I wouldn't think about it. But because I'm so used to having a guitar with me, it definitely feels weird not having that kind of thing that strap around my neck, basically. I think even like if I did a set with just a ukulele, I'd feel more vulnerable. I don't know. But yeah, I definitely feel like it's a bit of a protective armor somehow. Which is, it's interesting because like I've never, touch wood, I've never had so far, and it probably will happen soon, I've never had a mind blank on stage. But I have had moments where I've forgotten the words to a song, or like I've forgotten the chord progression to a song. And in that moment, there's no escaping it. So like if you're playing a song and you've forgotten how to play it, you've got to wait until you can remember how to play it, or you've got to work out how to play it, because you can't just move on to the next bit. So it is weird that I find it protective when actually like, wait, it's also a commitment. So like you're stuck in a song, and if the song is bombing as well, you can't just stop. You've got to finish that song. So yeah, it's a bit of a catch-22.
Which obviously brings up the next question, which is how far improv plays a part in what you do. If you're trying to be more in the room, how much do you include improvisation, or how comfortable are you with improvisation as part of a set?
I'm not that much of an improviser. I think I probably, because I've come very much from an acting background where I learn the lines and I perform them. I think, like, obviously as with every performer, and I'm still, comparably new to a lot of people, I have got more comfortable with, you can respond to things when they happen in the room, and you have to, and I enjoy that when it happens. But I am not someone who could go on stage with a bullet point of ideas and find a way to talk about it. Like if I'm doing new material, that new material has been written several times over and learnt off by heart and practiced, which makes it really heartbreaking when it doesn't work. But I'm always like, I am like almost over prepared often. But I think like as well, once you just get more comfortable on stage, it's easier to you get more comfortable in yourself and your persona, I suppose, and it is easier to just come up with little quips. I mean, if I've forgotten the words to a song, there's actually not much you can say other than just sort of say, oh, I've forgotten the words to the song. And sometimes people love that, and other times people are not impressed, which is fair enough.
So you mentioned the word persona there, and in being an actor as well, how much of you is in what you've written? How much of you, the performer on stage, is you, and how much is it a character or persona that you're playing?
I mean, I say persona, it is pretty much me, I would say. I used to be really, really awkward on stage. I had this very awkward stage presence, and I think I still do to an extent, but it was more so, which I definitely used as a defense sort of mechanism in a way, because I think I was like, oh, if I am awkward, then it doesn't matter because it's on purpose. Because it's probably going to be so awkward anyway. But basically, I did a split bill in Edinburgh, and the audience didn't know who I was. Our show was at like 11:30 at night. And they'd come in for free, and I was being this awkward person, and they were like, oh, you're bad then. You're not confident, and you're bad, and it went really badly. And the minute I just added like a little bit more confidence into my set, like it went so much better, which I thought was quite interesting. So I think I often fall into being awkward, but I try and come in a bit more confidently at the start of my sets now. I'd say being awkward is more true to myself than being confident. Yeah, I don't have a huge persona really. I think it's just a slightly heightened version of myself in some form.
Yeah. And you mentioned there the split bill that you did last year with Ben Pollard.
Yeah,
I was there, saw the show. So how was your Fringe experience? And I mean, how many times have you been to the Fringe? Have you been there as a punter? And how was doing that split bill for you?
I'd been before last year. I'd been once when I was 16. I went for a week. I was theatre obsessed at the time. I don't think I saw any comedy. I just saw amateur plays and actually thought, why is everyone going on about the Fringe? It's not that good. And it's because I just saw loads of really bad stuff. I saw like a physical theatre adaptation of All Quiet on the Western Front, and I was like, oh, what is this? Why is everyone going on about this place? So I actually didn't know anything going in last year. I just wanted to give it a go. Our show was at 11:30 at night, and I thought that would be, I think we got given 2 slots, so we got 11:30 a.m. or 11:30 at night, and we went for 11:30 at night because Ben and I we're not really 11 o'clock acts. I don't think that people would enjoy us that early in the morning. Which I stand by, but I do think we would have sold more tickets actually at 11 a.m. than 11:30. It was really hard to get people in, and we were both quite surprised by it. We thought we'd get more people like willing to come in and see one more show before they go to bed, but they were either absolutely smashed and falling asleep, or absolutely exhausted and falling asleep, or just didn't want to come. And we had some really nice nights, and actually, like, having spoken to other people again, I really had no idea. I was so blind to the whole thing. We had to cancel once on like a Monday night, which made loads of sense, and that was it. So actually, ticket sales were probably a lot better than like what they say is the average audience for Edinburgh. But it felt brutal at the time. But it was a really good experience, and like it was amazing. And I didn't go this year, and I'm hoping to go again next year. But just being able to like go again and again and again is such a good exercise, and you can't get, like, at that stage in your career, you can't really get that anywhere else, because it's so unlikely that you're going to get booked every day. Over and over again, and especially doing like half an hour each. So it's really good. I think the only thing that I found frustrating on top of that was I felt like I was so exhausted because the show was at 11:30, and then, you know, you'd like, I basically just didn't feel like I had any time to like sit down and think about my set, because I was just like so obsessed with trying to sell tickets that I like, and was so like exhausted from like going to bed at like 4 a.m. every night. I could never have a night off, basically. So I think it was amazing for like developing my act, but also like if it had just been an hour earlier, would have been ever so slightly more helpful.
So that was the 30 minutes. So presumably next is the 45. That's the normal progression. And then on to the hour, the debut hour. How big is that weight, that thing hanging over you of making the debut, and you can only be newcomer once, introducing yourself to the industry? That debut hour, is that a light or is that terrifying?
It's horrible. It's really horrible. It's so frustrating, and I've always been really annoyed by the idea that it's become such a big deal. I think it takes so much away from the point of it, in my opinion. Like, because you're so obsessed with, debuting at the right time. Who are you debuting with? Like, what's the show going to be about? What's going to be the theme of that year? It's all so circumstantial anyway, and yet so much is put on top of it. And yet, I'm waiting because you do want to be ready, and it's hard. But I think the thing is that it's really hard. It's so expensive. It's just how are you, it really depends on how you want to debut as well. I think it's also, it's not just am I going to be ready as a performer, but am I going to be able to financially afford to take such a big risk? And I think lots of people are debuting on smaller budgets now, and I think that's amazing. And hopefully that will slowly shift the game a little bit, because it does feel slightly unfair, and it's a game for people who which is a totally no judgment to anyone who can afford to do it, but it feels unbalanced in some way. But yeah, it is looming over me, and I'm doing a 45 at the moment, and it's really fun. It's so fun being able to just have a bit more time and have more developed bits is really nice, and just not be rushing, short sets is so fun. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to working on longer shows. Just with a slight fear of what's to come.
Where do you think you're happier then? You said there about being able to do the 45 and having that more time. Are you at your happiest performing a long form set, or is it more in the writing? Or do you enjoy mostly the spot on the bill where you can come on, bang out a 10 and then disappear? I mean, where are you at your most comfortable?
That's a really good question, and I don't really know, to be honest. And maybe that's because I haven't done enough 45s to really know. Yeah. I think I really love being able to bang out a good 10. It's great. It's really fun. It's really fun to be to just enjoy the night as a whole with other people, with an audience. You're part of a larger thing, which I really love. But also, I find it terrifying, because I will see the person in front of me do amazingly, and I'll just assume that I'm going to bring the vibe down all the time. So, and I really love writing, and that is something that I think that's what I most enjoy about the kind of being able to do longer shows, is actually the writing side of it rather than the performing side. I mean, I love performing, but it is it's what I really love about comedy is finding out what works and why, and what doesn't work and why, and going back and sitting down and writing out kind of all the reasons why something is working or isn't, and trying to find an answer. And I think that is really fun when you have a bit more time to work on it, as opposed to 10 minutes. It is so fun, but it's so succinct, and it's just got to be punchline after punchline, which is really fun. But it's really nice to be able to draw things out a little bit more, and be able to have more context. And it's been really interesting, actually, thinking of come up with funny ideas for my 45 and then trying them out in a 10 and them just not working at all because there's just no context, and realizing that it's just it's a really fun writing exercise to see why okay, that worked because I'd already said this specific thing, but and actually the audience know you a lot better when you're there for a longer period of time, so you can say something that then makes sense 40 minutes into a show that isn't going to make sense 5 minutes into a set.
What about your competitive side? First of all, you mentioned about doing the Student Comedy Awards. We've also talked about the difficulty of drawing in an audience at the Fringe and how competitive an environment that is. But how do you feel about competitions like that, or awards? You know, we know that you are a winner because you took the newcomer at Musical Comedy Awards. So how do you feel about awards, competitions? What is your competitive side like?
I think I really hate competitions with a passion. That's because I'm extremely competitive. I think that they're often just stressful, and it's not a particularly nice environment, and it's not an environment that I think comedy belongs in particularly. But having said that, I think at the moment they seem to be so important in gaining opportunities and getting the Best Newcomer at the Musical Comedy Awards did change things massively for me. Just in terms of the London circuit, I was able to go from bringer spots to 10-minute headline spots at the same nights. Like, just by having one thing made a huge difference. So and the Musical Comedy Awards is a lovely competition. It's really nice, and as like first competitions go, it was such a lovely, like, supportive environment. It was really amazing, and that was great. And I think Chortle, the Student Comedy Awards semi-final, was my sixth ever gig, and I was furious that I didn't get through. I was so furious. And I did not have the right to be so angry. But, I think I always get knocked back, like, personally, pretty hard if I don't get through to the stage that I want to get through to. But you get, like, as with everything in comedy, like, you just get over it after a week. You forget and go and do another gig. But they do, like, you know, it's on the Fringe posters and it's on the Instagram bios and it gets you booked. And I think that's the thing. Like, you can do 5 gigs and get to the semi-finals, or 10 million gigs and not. And it is kind of arbitrary in a sense, but it does seem to make a huge difference in lots of opportunities.
Yeah. What about you as a watcher and enjoyer? Are you able to enjoy it, or are you analytical? Are you studying your place with them, or how they're putting together jokes? Are you able to sit back and relax and enjoy comedy in the same way as you might have done?
No, I'm not. I really enjoy watching other comedians. I think I really I find it really exciting, and I am fascinated by, like, everyone's styles and styles of joke writing, and I love being able to gig on a mixed bill and being able to see so many different comedians and, like, doing completely different things, or, like, exactly the same things but like same themes, like, and completely different jokes. I love it. I think it really depends on just how I am at the time, like how confident I'm feeling that week, as to whether I can, like, sit back and enjoy it. Like, if I'm about to go on, I'm probably thinking, they're great, they're warming up the crowd, this is going to be fun. Or I can think, they're great, I'm going to kill the fun here. I think it really varies. But I love being able to, like, watch other people and just see how they write and perform. I think it's such a good, like, you're always learning from other people, and I think that's amazing. I think Edinburgh is amazing for that as well. Just being able to watch so much comedy in, like, such a short amount of time, and just being able to, like, really take so much in and see how different every single performer is kind of amazing. And in a way I feel less competitive at Edinburgh, because, I don't know, it just feels like everyone is in the same boat. Like, it is competitive in the sense that you are trying to sell tickets against everyone else, but everyone wants everyone to have a great time. Like, it's not like, I don't know, I know everyone's different, but I personally am not thinking, oh, I'm not selling any tickets, this is so unfair. It's just like, oh, it's just hard to sell tickets here because there's thousands of shows on. Yeah.
Well, you said there about in watching other comics and about seeing what they do, and given the relative lack of inspiration early on, are there people now who inspire you? Are people now seeing the people doing those performances? Does that encourage you or give you new things to aim for?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think it's amazing seeing people who are, like, kind of 2 years above you, I guess, in comedy world, like suddenly becoming amazingly successful is so exciting. Just because, you know, you can see it happening in real time is amazing. And like having seen people from like open mics to then suddenly like being on TV is so cool. Like it is amazing to see that. Like as a comedy nerd, that is completely exciting. And then, but yeah, I think like especially in musical comedy, I really didn't know anything before I started doing it, and actually barely knew anything before I went onto the Musical Comedy Awards. Like, and then was suddenly like, oh, there were so many musical comedians, like, just so ignorant. And I've become like really interested in musical comedy, like since then, basically, and yeah. I think Katie Norris is amazing. She won the year that I was best newcomer, and we shared a dressing room, and I just thought she was amazing. It's like, oh, she's so good. And then she went and did this amazing debut at Edinburgh, which I thought was incredible. And then her show this year is also incredible. And her songs are amazing. Yeah, she's just very cool. Yeah.
So you said there about the things that you can learn. Do you think you've learned one important lesson so far that sort of informs your philosophy moving forward? Something you would tell your newbie self, perhaps?
Oh, I think actually just that. I don't know. What have I learned? I think just like it's doesn't have to be perfect all the time. Actually, like. I think that's something that I've got a lot more comfortable with. Maybe that's because I'm busier now and don't have time to be perfect, and things still go okay. But actually, like you can if you're less strict or rigid, I suppose, you can actually find way more kind of nuggets within the comedy. So that's what I would say to my younger self, just be less intense and less strict on like learning lines, I'd say. And it's okay to bomb. That's what I'd say.
Yeah, I like going to works in progress more than I like seeing full shows.
Really?
Because the performer is so much more relaxed, and because they know that they can fail and it'll be fine.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Whereas Edinburgh's a kind of a very difficult window that you have to hit. So you have to get there after they're anxious about the show and before they're bored of saying it.
Yeah, right in the middle.
That second week window, you've got to catch them.
Yeah. Just before everything's sold out as well.
Yeah. So, given your comparative youth in the comedy circuit, what do you think so far have been the best and worst experiences you've had through comedy?
Okay, that's a great question. I would say my worst experience in comedy was my first night at the Edinburgh Fringe doing my split bill. We were just heckled to death by like a 21-year-old extremely drunk woman, and she was just like screaming, like genuinely just like screaming noises for the whole thing. And it was a really shy audience as well. That was bad. And that has stayed with me forever. I mean, forever, it was like a year ago. That was, that I think was like, but it was amazing. But I learned a lot from it. I think that it was like horrible, but also like, I don't like regret it. I'm not filled with regret when I think about it. Best comedy moment would probably have been Musical Comedy Awards final, performing at the Bloomsbury. It's like 550 people. That was pretty cool. I got a bit of a buzz from that, which I'm still striving for now. And it was just an amazing night. And like, I think there'd been like 11 acts, and then I was 12th. Like, so it had already been such a long night, and I was so nervous just waiting for like 2 hours to perform to that many people a year in to comedy. and all I could think about was 550 people is going to be the loudest silence I'll ever hear in my life. And I just thought they're going to be so tired by the time I'm on. They're just going to be so bored. They're going to want to go home. They're not going to care who I am. And it was amazing. It was an amazing audience, and it was such a lovely night. And it was, such a cool thing to have done again, like so early on in my like comedy journey. Like I was very lucky. So yeah, that was pretty good.
But you did BBC as well, and that put you on the television.
That is true. I didn't say BBC. That's interesting. BBC was very cool, but it felt disjointed in a way, because you do it and then it's on TV a month later or something, and it is weird doing like performing. Like I think it was, I didn't get such a buzz from it because I was performing with cameras right in front of me, which was something that I guess was such a new experience to me, that it was kind of interesting but not amazing. I mean, it was an amazing opportunity. It was like amazing to have had that opportunity, and I'm very grateful, and it was incredibly exciting being able to be on the TV. So yeah, that was also a highlight, I will say. And also, Ash, I can't keep naming highlights now. There's been loads of amazing things that I've been able to do, so I'm very lucky. Yeah.
Well, given that, then what do you have aims for the future? Specific targets? Do you have targets for yourself? Things to work towards?
I do. I think I set myself like extremely unachievable targets, and then get very frustrated when I don't hit them. I think at the moment, I work full time, 9 to 6, and I'm gigging, as much as I can, and that is exhausting. So I think just being able to not even have to work full time would be amazing. Just even part time, and still be able to live in London would be great. I feel like that's still quite a long way off, but it's something that would be lovely when it happens, if it happens. I think as well, just being able to do a show at Edinburgh again, that's not going to happen next year. It might not happen the year after. I don't know. Have to see. Probably will. But just being able to having to have done that would be amazing. I really ultimately also would love at some point to do more stuff on the telly, do acting and writing in TV is something that in the long term I would love, but short term it's probably just some lovely gigs and maybe less full-time work, but not sure how that's going to go.
And what about the social media side? Because obviously you do the online videos and things. Do you see those as a creative outlet to do short things you can't do on stage? Or is it, a media profile you have to keep going? Or is it just fun for you personally? Where does that stand with you now?
I think what I really love about it is that I like being able to write and perform sketches. And I also want people to know that I can do that and I'm not just myself on stage, if that makes sense. So that's part of the motivation behind that. And having little songs and jingles is really fun. But another motivation is that I want to be able to have more online traction for sure, because I think that makes such a difference to selling tickets to shows and, getting an audience and getting gigs now. It's makes a huge difference, I think, having something to say for your online presence. And I don't have that yet. And that's partly just because I'm spending time working on my live performance. And I've been thinking about whether I should be swapping that out a bit more and spending more time on online stuff, because I don't know if that would actually be more beneficial to me in the long term. I genuinely don't know. I mean, I really love, and I love writing and performing little things for online. But it still fills me with so much anxiety, like putting stuff on Instagram, like way more so than going and doing stand up. So actually, the more I do it, the easier that gets as well. So I'm trying to keep up with it, and hopefully something will be good enough to get a couple of views, but it hasn't happened yet.
Well, I mean, twice now I've told you how much I love your video for what I call Lily's song. I don't know if it has a title, but Lily's song, because I just love it. And it's been a couple of years now since that went up, and I still go back and watch it again because I just think it's so funny.
Oh, that's lovely to know. I definitely, I think I was made redundant 4 days after I posted that video online. That is. Oh
I'm sorry to laugh at that, but that is funny.
It was kind of harrowing at the time. No, it was funny. I actually reposted it with that caption, and it got a lot more views. I guess for anyone who doesn't know what that video is, it's all about how little work I do when I work from home. So,
well, I have been there, so yeah, maybe that's why. Maybe I can just relate, and that's why I love it so much.
Yeah.
So, how can people find out all about you and where they can come and see you performing?
So Instagram is my main place that I post tickets to shows and share gigs. I've got a website which I need to update in terms of ticket links and stuff, but Instagram at Jojo_Maberly is where I'm at.
So then I'll ask my final question. Of course, the title of the show, Jojo. How would you sum up comedy in a nutshell?
It's a great question. I think for me, the reason I got into comedy was, as I said at the start, like I watched Miranda. And what really spoke out to me was I don't know, she was just being so silly and talking about stuff that I was so embarrassed about as a teenager, but in a way that made me laugh, and it made me feel way more comfortable in myself. And I think that that's what I kind of try and do a bit of in my comedy, is talking about stuff that actually I'm quite embarrassed about, but I sort of know that by sharing it in a funny way, it can make potentially people see things in a different light. And I think that's what comedy is so good at doing. My mum has always said, since I was little, there's always a funny side to everything. Even she would say that the darkest times it was not appropriate. But I think it's an amazing way to find the silly in even some of the darkest places, and it can help you see different points of view because of that. It can help you see new perspectives because of that. I think it just it's a way to broaden minds and open minds, I think, in a way. Yeah.
Jojo, thank you so much for taking the time with me. It's been an absolute pleasure.
Thank you so much for having me.